Is my final chemo cycle happening? It's not a bike race for tumours. I checked. What happened at the crack of sparrows? What are you doing looking at birds' cracks? What am I doing in a different world? Being a ponce? And why is the void so springy? What? What? Come with me through the curtain of blurred colons and find out what's going on now in my cancer chemo story. Welcome to the Tumotastic Video Diary number 38. Hi, Skatz here. They know who you are. It's Friday, September the 6th, and welcome to Video Diary number 38 on Still Alive, where we don't like to die before we die, right? Not good for you. Have some courage. But I don't like porridge. So, we're approaching the end. Yeah, mine, you bastard. Yesterday I was looking forward to starting cycle 5 of chemo, the final push. So has it begun? What did the doctor say? Oh, listen to her. She wants me taken out. I'll tell you in a minute. Have a bit of patience. But before that, how have I been? And what has it felt like to be waiting and hoping for good blood test results? Sometimes I sit here and wonder what happens next. Well, once again, time has slowed down to a crawl, and there was a sense of sitting in a waiting room that was also a starless void. Void? That's a nice word to say. Very springy. Void. Are you sure you haven't got a brain tumour as well? Being simply too tired to do very much means the days stretching out into the distance, all very much the same. I have been doing a lot of reading. Still reading Terry Pratchett books. Bloody nerd. Oh, did I tell you? I found a collection of most of his books online, the electronic versions, and it was less than €40, so I splashed out. I've been wanting to have all of the Discworld series since I first started reading them. I've read them all over the years, but some of them I got from the library, so I don't have them to read again, and I do like reading them again. But now I have, so I've started again at the beginning. Wish I could start at the beginning. I wrote down here a question for myself. What have I been doing to carry me through the long waiting? And that's it. The Discworld is like one of my childhood teddy bears, or one of my comfort blankets, immersing myself in a different world. It doesn't help the time go much quicker, but at least I'm not bored. But what's the point of it all? Oh, I just remembered. I checked on the internet and there are Discworld conventions. That sounds like glorious nerdy fun. I can play dress up. I think the next one is in Ireland too, so it'll be fun to go and see some friends in Kerry while I'm there. Something to look forward to. Which character should I dress up as, do you reckon? Is there a character called Ponce? Because I can see you've already got the bloody costume. Talking of emotions, which I was earlier, Liz and I watched the cartoon Inside Out 2, and it made me wonder what new and different emotion characters that adults have. This sequel was exploring adolescence, which is full of pitfalls, shall we say. But what happens next? Any ideas? I'm not sure I know. It's going to take some thought, but I guess it's just going to get more complicated. I think there's a whole different set of emotions and feelings that kick in at middle age too. There must be loads in between, but go on, explore that idea. What do you think? Put your thoughts in the comments. Midlife crisis. There's a character for you. He's bald and keeps wanting to buy guitars. Seems like a long time since the benefit gig when the last big emotional explosion happened. This whole experience has been a series of bland but painful periods of holding on and getting through, interspersed with splashes of excitement and support, and then treatment, nausea and diarrhea again. I think there might be a diarrhea character in my head. There's a sobering thought. He'd be like a smelly athlete. Stinky, but a good runner. Shut it. That reminds me, I've been talking to a couple of fellow chemo contacts with the same condition and going through very similar treatments as me. Although, as the late, great Eric Morecambe said, all the same notes, but not necessarily in the same order.
Do not misquote the Morecambe.
Sometimes the chemo comes first. Sometimes it's after the operation. Sometimes it's the operation or radiotherapy coming first. And sometimes you have 5 cycles of chemo. Sometimes it's any other number picked out of the air.
You ain't got nowhere.
Anyway, it's been lovely to share my experiences with people in the first stages of treatment, just like other people did for me. Feels like I'm sharing on the love, which makes me feel good too.
Ponce, again.
What else has been going on?
Chemo?
Don't worry, I'll get to what the doctor said soon. But this is way more exciting. I've been window shopping guitars over the last few weeks.
Told you, midlife crisis.
Well, the windows have been computer screens. We don't really have any very local music shops that sell the sort of guitars I'm interested in. Not that I can buy anything like that at the moment, but they're fun to look at, aren't they? Although I do have some bits of music kit that I haven't used for absolutely ages, so I could try and sell them off to somebody who can benefit from them. Then when I'm feeling better and gigging again, I'll have some money towards upgrading some of the stuff that I do use that's looking a bit the worse for wear. Just like me.
But you've always looked like that.
I'll tell you what though, there's some excellent new technology about. There's a guitar now called the Lava. It's got a touch screen and it sounds like it's plugged in and being amplified. It's got effects and loops and rhythms and stuff, and they're getting better all the time. They used to be made all out of carbon fibre, but now there's one that's like made of spruce as well, so it sounds even more like a real guitar. It's very exciting. It's keeping me occupied anyway, watching reviews and people playing them on YouTube. I quite fancy getting another electric guitar too, but hey, what guitarist doesn't? Oh well, I can dream.
You do not need more guitars.
All right then, it's time to find out what happened in Malaga.
About bloody time.
Did I tell you, Chris is on holiday this week, so he couldn't escort me this time. Oh, the throat's starting to go again. Side effects, I'll tell you about that in a minute. Liz wanted to be with me for the last chemo, so we stayed over in Malaga on Wednesday night, ready to be up at the crack of Sparrows for the blood test.
Leave the sparrows alone.
The food in Malaga was awesome, so I had too much of it as usual. In the afternoon it was madras curry with a Peshwari naan. Oh yeah, lovely mixture of flavours there. One of the poppadom dips was even hotter than the madras. Awesome. It came back to haunt Liz later on, unfortunately, but ironically, despite my screwed up rectum, I was the unaffected one. Super Skatz, arse of steel. In the evening we shared 1 kilo chuleton, all sliced up for us to heat on the skillet ourselves that they brought to the table. Helped down by a Malaga Tinto too. We were so full. Well, it was all for my health, to help my blood. That's my excuse.
Everything tastes like shit by the time I get it.
Speaking of which, when I got the blood test results, they were good. So cycle 5 was on, baby. Oh yeah.
The final knife in my back before the big knife does me in.
With a helpful Chris on the end of the phone, I navigated the receptionist's questions. The doctor had put in a request for a consult with the surgeon back at the previous hospital, Carlos Aya, and also printed a note for the first hospital in Village Malaga, where I had the colonoscopy and the scans, to take there and book for a scan to show how well the treatments have worked. So Liz headed off to do that while I waited to be called in for treatment. She didn't have a good time of it though. The receptionist wasn't very helpful and just kept the form and said I'd get a call with the date. Actually, I missed a call this morning, which might have been them. And but that wasn't what the doctor had put on the form at all as the instructions. Oh well, if they don't call again soon, we'll have to go back together sometime early in the week, maybe with Chris once he's back from holiday, and try and solve it and get that appointment booked. The doctor said the appointment should be before September the 19th, which is, well, that's only a fortnight away. So things are moving fast if the hospitals get their act together. Oh, did I tell you about ringing the bell for the end of IV chemo? Because that happened. Here I am, doing just that. Celebrate with me, amigos.
Oh, yippee.
So next, after the scans, is the surgeon's consult to plan the operation, followed by the operation itself, then a further consult about the results and to plan ahead. Now, our son Oscar has his graduation in Ireland at the beginning of November, and I don't want to miss that. Absolutely not. So I'm going to make sure the operation is after that. The accommodation and the flights are booked already, so nothing is going to stop me now.
I'm very happy for you.
One more thing before I collapse on the settee for the weekend. Side effects. My arm is killing me from the IV. I'm on painkillers. The neuropathy is nasty. Throat is bad, as you can tell, and that's probably going to get worse when Freddie arrives in a moment. Everything is generally the worst it's been, and it's going to be a long weekend because the bad stuff starts this evening, really. But I'm not finished off. This is the big one, but it's the final one, and it's a box full of these tablets to get through. Only 98 of them in 2 weeks. Nasty poison. Take that, Freddie, you shrinky bastard.
You haven't seen the last of me.
La! Oh, I managed it with even the voice like this. On that note, that's all for this week. But next week, I'll be back, and I'm sure I'll have plenty more to talk about, and probably a much more clearer throat to do it with. Thank you so much. And there's the wind coming back again. That's another side effect. Thank you so much for continuing to follow my story, sharing your own experiences and sending those lovely messages of support. Pardon me. Tune in next Friday for another thrilling episode of
Murder Me Slowly.
Keep your fingers and your toes crossed, you lovely people, and as always, raise your drinking receptacles with me. The toast is still alive.
I don't like toast. Reminds me of my future.
Let's all do the still alive dance.
I don't think that's appropriate.